Madam Bahati Hilda Sabiti. She's one of the ladies I've been listening to for quite a number of years. And it's an honor that I'm here this evening to share my life journey. I just believe that by the end of today, I would have inspired and motivated someone out there. She has told you who I am. I've been a lawyer for the last 22 years. I'm a mother of 4 biological children, and I adopted 5. 3 are for my late sister, and 2 are my beautiful stepdaughters that I found with my husband. They are now lawyers. They were supposed to come with me because you can't know I'm their stepmom. I'm one of the unique and blessed stepmothers in the world. I came to share my life journey, but most importantly to tell you that you're unstoppable and nothing can limit you. I've learned in life that what you imagine to be is what you finally become. I come from a very, very humble background. My parents are known to the who's and who's in Kampala. I grew up a poor girl, but I've been very ambitious in my life, and that has shaped who I am today. I'm not the kind at campus who was dressing very stylish. I had very few friends. I joined law school from Trinity College, Nabingo, where I happened to be among the best in the country then. I was the 9th. But I've learned that nothing can limit you when you purpose to be unlimited. Right now you may feel insignificant. I've grown up insignificant until God lifted me and I'm where I am. I wasn't as beautiful as I look, and I wasn't as stylish as I look. But in my mind, I knew that if I focus on a bigger picture, I'll get there someday. So simple as you look now, the future is big for you. Simple, cash-strapped, broke, with insignificant people around you, nothing can limit you. You can tell your neighbor, nothing can limit you. You cannot be limited by anything. No one can stop the person you're going to be tomorrow. And no one can stand in your way. No one can block who you're going to be tomorrow. I remember when I was growing up, because my siblings are more browner than me, my 2 sisters, one passed on, and one is still around, so we are only 2. I always felt that they were more beautiful than me, until in Form 5 when I started imagining myself beautiful, and lo and behold, I still feel I'm beautiful. So sometimes your mind believes the negative and you get attracted to the negative. I used to feel we were the poorest in school. I tell my kids, my mom used to struggle to pay school fees. I remember when I went to university, I had the oldest suitcase that belonged to my sister, the one who passed on to cancer. So I thought everyone had a new suitcase. But let me tell you, your current circumstances don't determine who you're going to be tomorrow. Who you are right now, simple, ordinary, with limited resources, cannot limit the person you're going to be tomorrow. I remember I had very few clothes in Mary Stewart Hall, but I stood for interior minister, and I became a minister in interior, an interior minister in Mary Stewart Hall. So it didn't matter how I dressed. It didn't matter whether I had a cool, nice boyfriend then. It didn't matter how I appeared. Because of the belief you have in you, you can reach the level you want to reach. So this evening, I want to tweak your mind. I want to remind you that you're unlimited and unstoppable. I want to remind you that there are certain things you need to determine to do. One of the things that I do mostly is I believe in myself, what you call self-belief. Wherever I go, I believe I'm the best version of me. It doesn't matter the people around me. When I enter like a room here, just because today I was a guest, I always take the front seat. Why? When you take the front seat, you'll always be memorable to the speaker. You'll always get the best of everything. I don't take the behind seats unless they've already been occupied. Why? Because when you believe in yourself, you position yourself for greatness. When you believe that you're important, You carry yourself as a very important person. Even before I got a driver, I started imagining myself being driven. Even before I was elevated to the job where I am, I always felt what I was. So the way you believe in yourself matters, ladies and gentlemen, this evening. Do you believe great, young ladies? Do you believe you're important? Do you believe you're a VIP? Then you need to walk the talk. And you need to look the look. I was telling my son recently, my son is in university. I have 5 kids in university at home. 2 doctors, 2 lawyers, and my son who is a computer scientist. I was telling them that the more you believe in yourself, the more people will believe in you. What you give is what you attract. People cannot believe in you until they see the clout that you carry. So the point I want you to pick, you should always imagine yourself more important than anybody else. And you should look the look. When you're going for important functions, because you're great, wear the look of greatness. Appear the look of greatness. Talk the talk of greatness. Learn the things that important people carry. Surround yourself with people that see where they are going. They are friends we surround ourselves with who remain mediocres. They're always jokers. You tell them you're important, they laugh. You tell them you're so important, they joke around. I always tell people, I'm so important. One time I went somewhere, then I told someone that you're so lucky that I've sat next to you. Why? The pastor said, why? I said, because you're so lucky you're seated near one of the most important people in the world. The people joked around. But when it came to presentation, I stood up confidently. What do I want you to learn? Reimagine yourself being different than anybody else. Continuously see the best version of you. Continuously dream bigger than what we see. Continuously carry yourself as someone so important. Look around you and see the things your parents have not done. Recently, I told my mom that, you know what, mommy, I'm going to be the first person in this family to buy you an ML. My mom was laughing. I told her, I'm going to buy it. You may not have the money to do certain things, but imagine yourself that you have them. You may not have so much, but when you focus on those things, you'll be able to get them. Why? It is all in the mind, and we are unstoppable. Are we together? So it has been one of my driving forces. The other thing that I've learned is be positive. I'm allergic to negative energy and toxicity. When you're talking to me and you sound extremely toxic, that may be the last conversation I have with you. Why? Because toxicity blocks your mind. You can't think beyond a negative perception. My husband knows it when he's telling me a story. And he begins by saying, I know you will not like this story. I tell him, since you know I will not like it, you'd rather not tell it to me. Why? Because when you're toxic, you block the mind to think. When you're toxic, you block the mind to be creative. Human beings were created to be analytical, to be visionary, to be focused. So as you go through these sessions, remember to be positive. Positive attracts positive. Happiness attracts happiness. Are you happy? We are not happy because we are rich. We are not happy because we are educated. We are not happy because we are driving or have an iPhone. My kids love iPhone so much. They keep telling me, Mommy, you're holding a Samsung. We need an iPhone. I'll tell them life is beyond an iPhone. You may have a Techno, but happier than somebody with an iPhone 15. So happiness is within. Are we together? It's within. So what makes you happy? What makes you complete? I love motivation. I love encouraging people. Even back home in my village, I encourage people. Women come home and I speak to them. Last month, I had students that I was motivating. It's one of the things that fulfills me. What fulfills you? You need to take a move and walk towards the right direction. I remember when I was a CEO of Uganda Law Society, that is about 3 years ago, I was heading 3,600 lawyers in Uganda. I told my friend that I love motivation. I'm going to do it all the time. One of my friends teased me and said, Joyce, what is motivation? But let me tell you, motivation has taken me places. I travel nations to motivate. And today as I was coming, I was looking at some TEDx and I was like, I think one of these days I should be able to be showcased. What you believe, you become. Some people will discourage your dreams. Some people will choke you down. Recently, I started something called, that is last year, something called the Female Lawyers Network. How many have had our branding? We launched it this Saturday. We may not have any lawyers here. How many have seen the Female Lawyers Network? You can clap because at least you know something. When I started it, my friend discouraged me, told me, Joyce, who are you to start a network of female lawyers? But I grew up believing that even the lawyers need motivation. Okay, we go in places, but we don't have the motivation. So anyway, when we started it, the point I want you to pick, your big dreams will be a point of discouragement for others. Some people cannot imagine you can start something powerful. So they will always dim your light. People discouraged me. People were telling me negativity. Who are you? One woman told me, Joyce, but who are you to start that? That is not started by anybody. Dream to start something, start it, pursue it, and you'll get there. When I decided to launch it, someone told me, but how are you going to launch it? When so and so. Let me tell you, when you have a dream, follow it and pursue it. Tell your neighbor, follow it and pursue it. Everything will begin as a joke. Be aggressive to pursue your dream. Be determined to pursue it. Let me tell you, when I was organizing it, I didn't have even the money to pay the hotel. Let me tell you, money follows a vision. Money follows a vision. Step into the water, everything will fall in place. When I decided to launch it, I spoke to my friend, the DPP. She said, Joyce, I'm only available on this date. I said, okay, let me fix it on that date. I didn't even know who is going to sponsor us. Let me tell you, if you're doing something, do it excellently. Be committed. Be organized. People will come to you because it has picked up. People will never follow something that is disorganized. People will never follow anything that you've not started. If you want to start a salon, if you're corporate, you have a club, you have an organization, dive into the water and start. So when I went to Haj Mandela of Cafe Javas, he's a friend. So anyway, I went to speak to him. I told him, Haji, I started a Female Lawyers Network. I want to sponsor me. Let me tell you, everything you have courage to seek help. Don't fear to reach out to the people. He told me, what's your budget? I told him it's about 37 million. Let me see the budget. I showed him the budget. He said, I'm happy, Joyce. It's not like 200 million. People come here, but when they have budgets, they cannot even fund. He told me, how much money do you have? I said, I have 12 million. But did I have that 12 million? Don't fear to reach out to people. I didn't have it. But I simply told him, this is what I have. Of course, I knew it would add up the little money. But what I want you to pick is start somewhere and the rest will tag along with you. Begin. Be courageous. Don't be fearful. Start somewhere. You want to pursue education. You want to start an investment. You want to serve. You know, Fiona was sharing about joining these classes. Start somewhere. Join the classes. Let me tell you, there's a reason why at a particular time you hear certain things. If they're going to teach you communication, if it's about leadership, start somewhere. Enroll. The beauty of it, it's online. If you don't start, there are certain things you're going to miss because you're not part of this. So you start somewhere, enroll. There are things you don't even consult people about. If you feel that you're going to do it, you take the step. That's one thing I've learned. Because sometimes the more you ask people, the more they dilute your direction and more they dilute your purpose. So if you've heard that someone has shared purpose, we need to understand our potential. Enroll so that you learn. You know, someone is sharing something very simple, that when we join, you'll be able to learn the 15 years of Madame Bahati. Join. Because when you learn certain things, you reskill and become important. Another thing that I've learned, build networks and synergies. Let me tell you, don't know how much networks have helped me. You know, this session is about holding your hand. As people hold your hand, they should find you somewhere. People only hold a hand that is visible. Network. Every person you meet is important. Every person you come across has value. I can share with you so many stories of how networks have helped me. When I was at the society, before I joined the tribunal, the president was visiting Uganda Law Society to launch the ULS house. I had to meet the SFC team and the security detail. So they told me, Madam CEO, whom are you going to choose to be with us until His Excellency appears? I want you to listen to that story. So I thought around. They said that person has to be with us from midnight until the dinner time when the president comes to Serena. I looked around my managers. Some of them could give me excuses. Others were the toxic energy. I told them I'll be around. Said, are you serious? I said, I will be around. Even the people you think are very low, they will open the door to your next opportunity. Opportunities will come in seemingly difficult circumstances, but take advantage of them. Sometimes opportunities come in the hardest of times, in the most inconveniencing times. That's where opportunities come, where things look hard, where things look difficult, where it's impossible. But the point I want you to pick, there is a price for networks. There is a price. I've met people in my life, but I've met them in circumstances that look easy and simple. Sometimes people want to meet you like here when you should be home celebrating Eid. But when you come, that's when you'll meet the important people. The more you frequently come to these sessions, the more you're going to meet the people that you need for your next level. Someone may look simple, but they have value. The people you think are easy are sometimes the people that connect you to the next level. You're unstoppable, but your unstoppableness relies on how networked you are and the synergies you've built. Do not burn bridges. As you meet people at work, as you meet people here, as you meet people in the family, as you meet people in different parties, do not forget that the next door may be linked to them. Meet them and remain with decorum. Another thing I've learned, I'm not part of flimsy battles. When friends have issues, I'm never part of them. Why? Because I may fight with someone I need next day. So don't be part of so many battles and fights. The other aspect that I believe has also helped me so much, I look at things with a bigger picture. Don't be comfortable with now. Don't be satisfied. Where I work, we have a bodyguard, we have a driver, but I'm not comfortable. Why? I've not yet fulfilled my potential. That is just a transit. You may be simple. You're working somewhere. You have a simple job. They are not paying you so much. You're struggling to study. It is okay. Do not be comfortable. Even while you have everything, do not be comfortable, because the biggest enemy of our progress is our previous success. Don't be comfortable. Every day write down where you want to go. Where do you see yourself? And in the next 5 years, where do you see yourself? I was telling my daughter at university, she's in 4th year. I told her, you've started dating. Why don't you ask those guys, where do you see yourself? He told me one of the guys could not even imagine where he sees himself. He stays at home with his mother. He has his mother's car. He's just clueless. Let's go and club. Let's go and drink this. He's holding an iPhone. I told her, you need to ask the guy, where do you see yourself? For some of you that are still dating, I see so many singles. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What do you, if a guy is only seeing himself with because you know kids love seeing yourself. If a woman is only about TikTok, my dear, life is beyond TikTok. Where do you see yourself? My last born loves TikTok every time. You see her recording videos and dancing. Where do you see yourself? Have a dream and have a plan. I have a dream for the next 5 years. I know that I'm not going to be at the tribunal. I know that I'm going to be somewhere. I believe I'm going to be in international conferences. I see that image every day. Never stop reminding yourself where you're going to be. Do not be comfortable with the milestones you've achieved, because the milestones are simply an assurance that you're greater than what people see. Continuously see yourself far. Imagine yourself great and start carrying yourself as an important person. From today onwards, you come here for these sessions. You come when you're very smart. You greet Madam Bahati. Hello, Madam. How are you? I'm Gladys. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for the interactive discussions. Let me tell you, when you start talking intellect, people start seeing intellect in you. Don't talk like someone who is casual. Let me tell you, at my workplace, me, I'm too much. When we go for meetings with our minister, I'm always in front. I put up my hand. I research on the topic we're going to talk about. Let me tell you, one of the biggest challenges that we face now, people fear to be the true version of themselves. We fear the friends. You fear the boyfriend. You can fear relatives. You can fear your peers. You can be here when you have an important point, but you fear to put it up. Why? There's a guy seated on your row that is chewing gum, and he will think that you're not. No. You may fear to even walk in front. What will they say? Let me tell you, when I was growing up, I tell my kids, I used to fear sometimes to come from in front. Why? The guys are going to think, I don't have hips. The guys are going. Let me tell you, how you look doesn't matter. What matters is exploiting your potential, it coming out. And how you appear. Let me tell you, all these other things will follow a person who is visionary. When you're visionary, people will not look at your hair. People will not look at your hair whether you have a weave. I see my kids, they have long, they look so beautiful. People will not look at your nails. Why? Because your potential is bigger than how you look. Your purpose that you're supposed to fulfill is so big. The person you're going to be tomorrow, all these accessories that we add on are simply what we call enhancement. They enhance a dream and a vision that is already placed. So I want to encourage you this evening. And Fiona will remind me how much time I have. Don't forget the bigger picture that you are. Do not be limited by anybody. I struggled as a child because one time I thought I was ugly. The other time I thought I don't have a figure. The other time I was like, the devil could always compare me with my sisters. Do not compare yourself with anybody else. Simply compete with yourself to become better. Every day compete with yourself. When I was in a bingo, we used to speak Luganda. I don't even know how I got an accent and nice vocabulary. Luganda 24/7. But when you're determined to have an accent, you will surely have it in the name of Jesus. Today I've not used the accent. But when I decide to speak, why? Because I always convince myself that I can speak like an American. I can speak like someone very important. When I put up my hand somewhere, I speak with confidence. When I go for meetings with my colleagues, sometimes they're like, Joyce, are you coming? Honorable Nalunga, are you coming? I'm like, you guys, I'm on leave. No, you come. When we go with you, you make the environment cheerful. Why? I'm determined to make the environment cheerful. When I reach there, the minister says, is there anyone with a comment? I put up my hand and say, Honorable Minister, I think it has been a beautiful engagement. We are glad that you're the minister of our tribunal. We are proud of you. Is it possible for you to remind us of our vision? Have something important to say all the time. And feel your value addition. Never forget that you're a value addition. Never forget that you're so important in your own capacity. The other thing that I've learned, mind the friends that you surround yourself with. Not everyone is supposed to be your friend. And there are friends that are seasonal. I have friends I studied with that are no longer that close to me. But I have 4 friends that are close to me that we call the diamonds. They can give me feedback. They motivate me. They inspire me. Are there things you want to attain? Do not be shy to be great. Let me tell you, when I started my website, my friends laughed at me. When I do videos, I share my videos on every forum. People can come inbox and tell me, but Joyce, you're not scared to share your videos. In my heart, I'm like, who will share them if I don't share them? Do they want to share them when I've died or what? Let me share them now. Be exceptional. Do what other people can't do, but you feel you can do it. Stretch your potential. Do things that you believe you. Don't be shy to be great. Don't be shy to network. Don't be shy to exploit your potential. Another thing I've learned to be selfless. When we host someone, My boss is my agent, and we studied together law. She's the chairperson of the tribunal. When I move with her, I'm so humble. I can tell her, let me hold your bag because they are taking important photos. I can tell her, let me help you do this. I can serve her tea. Why? When you're humble, honor will locate you. Should I repeat it? Humility attracts honor. The more humble you become, if it is Fiona here and she's picking peppers, they're falling, oh, Madam Bahati, you can simply say, let me help you, it's okay. Should I bring a cup of tea? Should I bring you coffee? The more humble you become, the more honorable you become. Because humility begets honor. I do things that people don't expect me to do. Let me also give you another example. When I was a CEO, I went to Italy. We're all CEOs of bar associations. My friends, because they have the titles, you know, when you're a CEO of a law society, you're in charge of all the lawyers. For them, they had attitude. For me, they were saying, who is going to welcome the Prime Minister of Italy? I could walk there and say, me, Nalunga Joyce from Uganda Law Society. Who is going to serve these people? Me, Nalunga Joyce from whatever. Who is going to usher the VIP? I'm available to do it, please. Who is going to do? Let me tell you, when I finished the conference, I had won the award of the best CEO in bar associations. Bar associations are associations of lawyers. What does this mean? When you're selfless, opportunities locate you. When you're selfless, you become visible. When you're selfless, humility attracts the honor that you need. People will only respect a person who is humble. Don't be so proud that people can't approach you. Be so simple and be appreciative. Sometimes we work with people and we think that those people are not significant. Be so appreciative. Everyone is as important. It doesn't even matter for you to come and say, oh, Madam Fiona, thank you so much for that session. It was insightful. Do you know what it takes to sit here? If they tell you to speak for 5 minutes, we can see you sweating, sneezing. We can see your legs are crumbling like this. Let me tell you, it takes the grace of God to be here. You know, for me, I'm a cheerleader. Even on WhatsApp groups, I can never post a toxic post. If someone is so quiet on our group and he shares a joke, I'll say, oh, it's funny, even if actually I didn't laugh. Why? Because they've muscled themselves up to share. But you can see toxic people. Someone posts and they say, already shared previously. I don't know why you don't read the previous. Surely. Okay, it was shared, but this person is not aware it was shared. Me, I can say, oh, that was so beautiful. Thank you, Titus. That is very good. It's still funny. 3 weeks down the road, I still find it funny. Why? Because you need to be people's cheerleaders. Some people will only do one thing to see if they can make it in life. And the moment you dim their light, you suffocate their next level. So we need to remember that. People need to cheer them on. People need to encourage them on. People need to tell them, this is wonderful, you're doing great, you're performing your best. Sometimes I used to tell my driver who drives me that when you wear brown colors, they make the whole car dull. Put on white shirts and put on a tie. He could wear brown, gray, sijui, maroon. Now recently started wearing white shirts. I told him, hey Derek, you're very smart and very presentable. He said, madam, I told him, no, you're smart, you're bright. The brightness you cover yourself with is the brightness in the car. I can't have you in the car when you're suffocated in very, very dull colors and when you're also dull. The point I want you to pick, be a positive energy to people. Be a positive energy. Encourage people to be great. See the simple milestones people make. Encourage them to be. Let me tell you, some people can never be great until we give them a platform. And support people when they make the first stride. Encourage them. Push them on. Tell them you're doing great. I think this is lovely. I think this is important. I think you can do it. Why? You can only limit yourself by limiting other people. Remember, I've told you you're unlimited, but your limitation is cling to other people. The more you limit people, the more you become unlimited. The more you become limited. The more, I've learned not to come. No one can, I cannot be Madam Bahati. I can't. She's so good. I watch her YouTube and videos. I can't be Fiona, but I can only be Nalunga Joyce Bidibuma. So that's who I am. One time I tried to be like my sister. She's an introvert. She's quiet. I said, now Joyce, start talking like your sister. I started psyching up myself. Hi, how are you? How is everything? I felt like blasting out. Because I cannot be her. Why? The differences we carry is what makes us special. The things that you have that are unique, you may be loud and vocal because God created you to be a good communicator. You may be quiet because you're an administrator. So celebrate every imperfection you carry. Celebrate every difference you carry. Your speciality lies in your imperfections. Those little things that people tell you, I think you're different. I think you're too hard. Sometimes you may be shy, but actually when you're good, when people give you a platform. So let us not look at our imperfections as something that is very, very bad. As I try to conclude, because I want to keep time and I don't take on so much time, I want you to remember some of the things that have made me be. Let me tell you, my childhood poverty has not limited me, and it can't limit me. Another thing I've learned, the power of confession. Every day for you young ladies, I tell my daughters, tell yourself, I'm beautiful, I'm lovely, I have a big future. Stop talking about the things that people have spoken about you. Stop imagining things about yourself. My daughter recently told me, my last born, and she called me from school, Mommy, you know, she cut off her hair. Mommy, some girl said that this girl with a bald head. I told her, but surely, do you have a bald head? That I don't have it. Ignore. The point I want you to pick, people's opinions don't determine you. What people think about you is not what makes you. People are free to think. People are free to give opinions. People are free to talk. Even me, they talk about me. No, and the more important we become, the more they talk about us. Even my kids talk about me. Sometimes I give them lectures. I say, Mommy, but Mommy, you've spoken about that topic. Sometimes I'm telling them, yesterday I was telling them, you guys, do you know that you have to make sure when you've started dating, you have to do an HIV test, you have to do an hepatitis B test, you have to do HB electrophoresis. But Mommy, the sex talk at campus is everything. I told him, do you know that virginity is still an in thing? My son said, no, Mommy, you know those things you keep saying? I said, say, Mommy, we've heard those things. By now in third year, everyone has said them. I said, no, I want your mind to always remember that this is important. I told them recently, I want to teach you how they do these oral quick HIV tests. I brought it from the pharmacy. It's 35,000 first pharmacy. I put it there. Bah, they had come back from campus for Easter. I opened it. I told them, you see how they do it? Use this swab under your gum. What color does it show? Shows negative. Don't undress for any girl until you're sure. Why? We need to confront our fears and speak them. And for you, the young girls that are here, your life is so important. I don't know how it came, but value yourself, because value begets value. Don't give your life to anybody. I tell my children all the time, I tell them, you're as important as the value you give yourself. The more you value yourself, even the guys that are here, I was telling my son, Mommy, those things you talk about, you know, for us guys, you know, those things of sex, it's like a casual conversation. I said, what are you talking about? Your life is important. Anyway, to go back to this, you can only be limited by the decisions you make. Calculate your decisions. Weigh. Is it worth it? Even me, every day I go through what they call a moment of no return. I calculate my decisions. I plan and say, Joyce, if I do this, will it take me ahead or it will take me far? If I speak this, will it help me? I always calculate why. Always be cautious about what you do and what you say. Why? Your tomorrow is determined by your now. Everything you plan, everything you say, you're unlimited because of the decisions you do. As we conclude the conversation, just in case you have questions to ask, I don't know the program. It is never too late to reset your priorities. You can reset your priorities. I've not been a perfect woman. I've made mistakes in life. I've made wrong decisions. I did my 2 masters, but the first masters, I failed it. I didn't fail it because I didn't pass. I didn't do the thesis. I was pregnant with my 3rd daughter. But that didn't stop me from studying again. There's so many decisions I've not made right as a parent, but I never stopped doing the right thing. Don't give up on you. You can reset your priorities. Your mistakes don't determine your tomorrow. You may have made so many blunders. You've lost friends. If there are friends you feel are important, reach out to them and bring them back. If there are people you feel that you really need to be their friend, don't feel shy to say sorry. Learn to say, I'm very sorry. For us who are married, saying sorry is like a cup of tea. Learn to say sorry when you know a relationship is is meaningful. Because there are some people that come in your life for a reason and for a purpose. And sometimes we lose them because of mistakes. It's okay to say, I'm sorry I made this mistake, but I still find you very important and valuable. Learn to say sorry. Learn to reach out to people. Learn to support people. Encourage people. Learn to be strategic. When you meet people and you feel their good connection, remain strategic. Bring them closer. Let me tell you, the life we are in is strategic. Everyone is important, and don't miss any opportunity. For those of you that don't have jobs, if there's an opportunity to volunteer, come on, take it up. Sometimes it's not about money, but it's about the opportunities that are going to find you. You may volunteer today. Tomorrow it becomes your employment and recruitment. I remember we used to have so many volunteers at ULS, but for us to pick people, we used to pick them out of all of them. Have I benefited you? How many have benefited from this conversation? I didn't time myself, but I think it's the minutes that I was given. Fiona, these are the minutes, not so? Have I made my minutes? I want to thank Madam Bahati. I've seen you there. Can we give a shout of appreciation? Thank you for allowing me to come on this platform to share. I'm passionate about motivation. Fiona, thank you. I've seen Fiona from way back. I didn't tell you that I'm born again and I have a deep relationship with my God. I want to thank you so much for this opportunity. And for the ladies and the gentlemen that I've blessed, I can share my contact. Anytime you need someone to encourage, someone to support you, someone to stand with you, someone to cheer you on, feel free to reach out to me. I may be busy, but I will always be available. You can take down my number, 772-428-424. I don't want to take so much time. In case of any questions, over to Madam Fiona. God bless you.
Isn't she so good?